Blog Talk Radio.
Drop that down! The whole fucking show! Drop that down! The whole fucking show! Damn a needle! Damn summer needle! Damn crushing needle! Man of the needle! Drop that down! The whole fucking show! Drop that down! The whole fucking show! A damn shot straight to your brain! Straight to your skull crack! You get down to straight to your brain! Straight to your skull crack! Drop that down! The whole fucking show! Drop that down! The whole fucking show! I will fly high! 5-star broad splash! You can't stop me! 5-star broad splash! Drop that down! The whole fucking show! Drop that down! The whole fucking show! It's all about the yin and the yang! The balance, the power, the zen! You can't stop the yin and the yang! The balance, the power, the zen! Drop it down! The whole fucking show! Drop it down! The whole fucking show! I will levitate! Flip, kick you in the yam! I will decimate! You can prepare for! Drop it down! The whole fucking show! 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 Drop it down! The whole fucking show!
Yes. Good morning, Vietnam. Think it's morning in Vietnam? It might be. I don't know. We're all over the place. I'm out here on the West Coast, 3 hours behind my listeners from the East Coast. But we all come together. Why? For RVD Radio. And we're all coming together tomorrow to celebrate the day the Pilgrims took the land from the Indians. So happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Yay! Let's celebrate. We have a lot to be grateful for. Isn't that what we think about around Thanksgiving? All the stuff we have to be grateful for. So that's what people want to talk about. I'm all about that. I actually get told, believe it or not, by people that are close to me that I come across as very motivating. It's because I'm always in that attitude of gratitude. I'm very appreciative of every fucking day. Now, this may be a result of the fact that I've lost a lot of friends that are really close to me. I don't know. I have. I think that every day is a blessing. I'm so thankful every time the sun shines on me and gives me its love. It makes me happy. I'm in a good mood. And people that are grateful, they vibrate at a certain frequency that brings good things into their life. It's a fact. It's quantum physics. If you want to talk about science, it's the law of attraction. And it's just true. You know how it is, man. Sometimes you see people and you're just like, man, he's always in such a good mood. He's always such a pleasure to be around. And you want to be around that person. It could just be somebody that you shake hands with once in a while. Could be the guy that holds the elevator door for you. Whatever, you know. Could be a beautiful diva that just gives off all this positive energy and just glows with positivity, and it makes you smile. That's what life's about, people. Spreading that positive energy. It's a give and take. You can bring somebody's energy up easily just by giving them a compliment. Easily. Hey, your hair looks really good today. Watch them light up. It's like you're watering a plant on a cartoon and it's just growing right in front of you. That's what positive energy does. And being grateful puts you in that state of mind to produce positive energy. It's a conscious effort, too, on my part, because, well, it's just my Zenful way. You know, my parents say that when I was a kid, I had a very equal, you know, my attitude was pretty, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. Line? Oh, that's what you get when you do this show by yourself. But, you know, pretty even keel. You get what I'm saying. I didn't show a lot of expression as a kid or growing up. And that's kind of my nature. I think that makes it easier for me to not stress out and spaz out and focus on a lot of bad shit. There's negative energy all around us. There's also positive energy everywhere. So what you do is you focus on the positive things, and guess what? Evidence that your world truly does become what you think. It really does. Do you think if I didn't focus on every little problem I had, that wouldn't eventually become my entire world and surround me because I'd put myself in that fucking little box? I don't do that. I have friends that do. We all know people that do. And we're all human. We're not perfect. You know, we all play a lot of different parts in this big play of life. We're talking about being in the attitude of gratitude. I remember when I did this interview for Maxim magazine last year after the Benoit tragedies, when everybody was talking about the life expectancy of a pro wrestler. And when I was doing the interview, I said to the guy, you know, yeah, I mean, I've lost, you know, quite a few people that I've wrestled with. A lot of them were my really close friends. And I don't know, we came up with this number. There was like over 60 wrestlers that had died in the last 10 years. I can't remember exactly what the age was. I think it was the people that were under the age of 45. It was alarming. It was a lot. You guys know what the hell I'm talking about. But one thing that stuck out from that interview to me was I told the guy, hey, I don't know what it's like, you know, compared to somebody else. I mean, yes, I've lost a lot of my good friends. You know, they've died. Friends that would come over to my place, eat my wife's cooking, you know, spend the night. Really good for my brothers that have gone under. And I said, you know, I mean, I'm, you know, at the time when I did the interview, I guess I was like 36. I said, I don't know. I guess by the time you're 36, you probably normally lose a lot of friends along the way. Maybe that's normal. This guy said, fuck no. He goes, dude, I know like one person that's died in my life. Says he was the same age as me, the guy telling me that he didn't know that many people that had passed away. I thought that was shocking. I said, wow, I guess that's a pretty big deal. You know, no wonder everybody's up in arms about the wrestlers passing away. But the truth is, every time I bury one of my brothers and wonder why I keep going on, I'm grateful that I do. I'm grateful every day that I get to breathe the oxygen and feel the warmth of the sun and experience all that is this wonderful life. So I'm a grateful person. And thing is, you know, that's how you want to be. Who wants to be? You know how miserable people are. You don't want to be them. Here's a good test to ask yourself, all right? Would you want to be around you? Because if not, then maybe you could think about making some changes. You know what I mean? Because you will attract people that are like you. And I don't mean they necessarily have the same personality, but negative people, they attract a negative environment just the same as positive people attract positive people. And, hey, be happy with who you are. Be comfortable in your own skin. But if you're a negative person, it's a conscious choice. You have to realize that. You have to take responsibility for the fact that you think bad things and you control your thoughts. I believe that's the difference between us humans and the animals, is that we can change our thoughts. I don't think the dog can. I think the dog is kind of subject to wherever the attention span goes. But for us, if you think good thoughts, you can't feel bad. Just like if you think bad thoughts, you can't feel good. You're causing your own vibration. Be grateful. Think about all the gifts that you get every day, just the gift of life. And you know, if you want to use the comparative scale, sure, compare it to some people that don't get to enjoy life anymore, people that have passed on. And, of course, you can say they're in a better place. Maybe they are. We don't know. But in the meantime, I'm so happy to be alive. I'm grateful for my health. I feel happy. I feel healthy. I feel terrific. And I'm grateful for my outstanding relationship I have with my beautiful wife. I'm grateful for my home. I'm grateful for my family. Very happy, very grateful. You guys catch what I'm saying? I get asked a lot, you know, how people ask how they can change their life, change the path they're on. If you're not putting out that grateful vibe, then you know what you're doing wrong. Look at other people. Look at people that are miserable, that complain a lot, and look at them. You know, look how their life is and decide if you want to be like that. I think that as children, we imitate what our parents do, and that kind of sets up how we're going to behave. You know, we get our personalities and our behavioral patterns from our parents. So if mom and dad scream a lot, if they're bossy a lot, if they're disrespectful, or if they complain a lot, there's a good chance that the kids are going to do that too. But regardless, you have the power to make your own choice. So don't blame it on mom or dad anymore. I don't care if you grew up in a part of town and that's just how everybody was there. If you don't want to be like that, or if you're unhappy, or if you just want to make some change, or you just want to grow spiritually and become a better person and attract more positive to you, boom, RVD's telling you how to do it. Something else we're going to be talking about today is paying dues. All right? I got some guests with me that are going to be on RVD Radio tonight, such as the legendary Sabu. I wanted to talk about paying dues with Sabu because me and Sabu broke in together way back in the day. He'd actually been around for a while before me. I think about 6 years, carrying the Sheik's bags, doing what he could for the Sheik. And then in 1989, I met Sabu and the Sheik, and I came into the family. Sabu hadn't really been a lot of places yet. He hadn't really developed into what he would eventually become. So that's why, from a perspective, you could say that we kind of like came in at the same time. But let me stress the fact he's older. He's more experienced. He's my mentor. Always has been. He's always been. He's a teacher. Anybody that knows him, too, knows he's a teacher. You know, there's leaders and there's followers. Sabu, he's a leader. He's always looking to take care of everybody. He's always wanting to tell you the best thing to do. And so he's going to be on. That'll be pretty awesome. Talking to Sabu, he doesn't do a whole lot of interviews, but since he is part of the family, we'll be talking to him. We'll be talking to little Guido, who can tell us about paying dues. And also Justin, the insane one, McCully. Some new guests to RVD Radio, all very good friends of mine. Justin Sano is a UFC mixed martial artist. He's got a fight coming up December 10th. He's training hard for it right now. Hoping to go roll on the mat with him tomorrow. I like to train there with him, but I'm not going to have the stamina to keep up with him because, you know, these guys take it seriously and train really hard before a fight like that. And you have to because you're basically willing to accept a challenge from anybody in the world. So you want to be at your best. JMC got this big fight coming up, so he's going to call in a while, too. We already got callers on the line, of course, and I didn't even mention Chris Mordetsky, the masterpiece, and Dr. Shawn Staziak. SVD will be joining us. This is going to be a hell of a show. So we got some stuff to talk about. I want to hear from people calling in, talk about attitude of gratitude, talk about paying dues, talk about positive energy. Of course, RVD TV is always a subject to talk about. One of the reasons I like to do RVD Radio, I like to try and get the word out there. I have a lot of fun with RVD TV, and I'll have some very exciting news in the near future to talk about with that. But if you go to robvandam.com, you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Check out the previews page and look at all our episodes. We got like 50 episodes now, and we keep going. New one every week, commercial free. They're like 15, 20-minute episodes. They got a lot of other celebrities in them, and nobody wrote any of it. Produced, directed by Rob Van Dam, written by nobody. It's all real life. Real life. Not like a fake reality show, but real life. So that's always a subject to talk about. You guys can call me and tell me how awesome I looked last week on Hulk Hogan's Celebrity Championship Wrestling. Oh, I know. I looked good. And I know you were happy to see me back in the ring. Happy Turkey Day, everybody. I'm going to go to some calls because you guys have listened to about 15 minutes of RVD. It's time for a voice change. So let me take a look at the caller list and see. Let's see what Ben from Utah wants to talk about. Ben from Utah, what up, dude?
Hey, what's up, Rob?
How the hell are you? Happy night before Thanksgiving, dude.
Thanks, man. Man, I think I'm the first Utah caller on your show.
Yes, you are. There are other callers, but I chose you, Ben. I chose you.
Right on, Rob. Well, I've met you a couple of times, and you've always been really cool, really gracious, and really appreciated that.
I appreciate that. I'm a real person. I'm consistent. That won't change.
Cool, man. Hey, I had a wrestling question and a kind of a religious discussion because you were talking about religion last week and I couldn't call in. So, with the wrestling, I've always admired you just for the fact that, you know, you're always trying to go out there and, you know, give it 150% and trying to be unique and all that thing. When I watch the current product on some of these TV shows, it seems to me, and I don't know if you can divulge anything, but is there a management decision or is there a talent decision? These guys go out and seem to have the same match over and over on TV. Do you ever get that vibe, or am I just seeing stuff?
Well, there's really a lot involved when it comes down to how what you see materializes, and it's also not consistent in every case, so it's hard to guess and to imagine. But, you know, one thing that happens a lot, I'll use some of my matches, for instance, for example. When I used to wrestle Jerry Lynn, we clicked in such a way that when we were out there and hadn't even wrestled each other before, but that first time at the Philly Arena, it was like there was we had this chemistry. It was like we were dancing, and it was so awesome. We both enjoyed the match so much, and so did the fans. And next time we went to wrestle each other, it was like we remembered almost exactly what we did last time, because it was like it meant that much to us, because the way the crowd reacted and the ups and downs and the story that was told. A lot of times we'll go out there and remember it. So what me and Jerry would do is every time we go out there, it'd be a personal challenge to outdo that last match. And so last time, if I threw a spank kick and he ducked it, this time when I threw a spank kick, I'd expect him to duck, and I'd come up with a leg sweep, you know, and then if he jumped that, shit, I'd have something else for him the next match. And it was awesome how that just like grew off of a basic foundation, you know, something that just really worked out there. But thing is, I find that a lot of guys are limited, Ben. I'm not going to lie to you. I go out there, I got the moves. RVD brings it. I'm out there to entertain. I'm showing off. I really don't know what some of the guys get out of it that don't go about it the same way as me. There's a lot of wrestlers that only know it seems like 3 or 4 moves, you know, and even as a fan, like in the 80s when I watched it, I noticed that, you know. That's why like some of the big wrestlers that would only do an elbow and maybe a splash in the corner, and that's all they had, but they were getting pushed down our throats, you know, because the way that they looked. As a fan, I was drawn more towards guys that had more moves. Even if they didn't win the matches, I'd be rooting for them, like Leaping Lanny Poffo or Brady Boone or Owen Hart when he was the Blue Blazer, you know, and they were impressive to me. I felt like they were working harder, so that may be the result of what you're seeing. And I translate your whole message to mean you miss RVD.
Oh, absolutely. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, it gets to a point, I can pick the spots in these guys' matches. It's like, oh, there's 1, there's 2, they're going home. I can tell every time. So.
Well, maybe you can make a new game out of it and, like, drink a shot in case they miss the shot. You got it.
RVD, motherfucker! RVD, motherfucker!
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Awesome. All right, well, thanks for the call, Ben.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Right on, dude. Oh, I guess I got him a little bit too early. He was saying goodbye. All right, this is growing. I'm just growing with this. I happened to see a friend of mine from New York. I'm not going to make him hold any longer because he's a guest of mine. Little Guido. Quiz. What up, dude?
RVD, how are you? Actually, I didn't mind. I enjoyed hearing what you're saying because I don't think you could have said that any better than the way you just put it. There's no.
I don't know how long you were listening, but maybe you enjoyed RVD, motherfucker. If not, here it is.
RVD, motherfucker!
RVD.
Yeah.
Nunzio, motherfucker!
Hell yeah. I got a couple of good sound bites. Here's one. This is one of my favorites, too. Check this out.
Who stole the fucking dope?
I don't know if you used to watch Deadwood or not, but I'm a big fan of Deadwood, Nunzio. Big fan, and that came from that. Anyway, so what up? Thanks for calling, Glaze. Do you want to hear what we're talking about?
I would love to hear. I caught a little glimpse of what you were talking about the last just couple of seconds, but I'd love to know what's going on.
Yeah, what I do is I take up the first 15 minutes of the show babbling by myself, and all the callers that are online listening are saying, man, I wish he'd shut up and bring the guests in and get to the calls. But since you missed my monologue, we're talking about being grateful today. We got Thanksgiving tomorrow. Sonia being an Indian, she's going to be here in a minute. She'll probably tell us the Indians aren't too thankful for what happened back then. But the fact about being grateful is something that I always try and press upon everybody, because you can choose to be grateful for what you got, or you can choose to bitch about what you don't have, and the choice that you make is a direct outcome on your life. You know how there's certain people that are like they have this positive energy about them. You remember Rico? What was his name?
I know.
The guy that wrestled. What was it?
I know who you're talking about. Rico. I know who you're talking about. Rico. Wrestled WWE. Yeah. Rico.
Yeah, I can't remember what his last name. Constantino, right?
Constantino. Yes. Constantino.
Yeah, he always struck me as like a positive guy. Like, he just exuded this positive energy. He was always so happy to be in the dressing room, and like it was hard to find him in a bad mood, you know. And like when you walk by him and shake his hand, he just always seemed to be like grateful and happy to be there. And you know, you're like, who's not attracted towards, you know, people? Like, it's like a magnet. Like you wanna feed off that energy. You wanna be like that. You wanna feel like that, you know. And there's a lot of negative shit that anybody can choose to focus on, and if you focus on it enough, that will become your whole life. If you concentrate and obsess about the fact that you don't know if you're going to have the rent money in, then you can count on having some pretty miserable days between now and when that issue is solved, because you're choosing what you think about that causes you to vibrate at a certain speed, and that causes you to feel a certain way. So we're talking about gratefulness, not just because Thanksgiving is when everyone's grateful, or because RVD's so fucking spiritual. I'm hitting it from that perspective too. I know, Gwiz, I've tried to have some spiritual conversations with you before, like about coincidences and stuff like that, and I found, you know, that we definitely have a couple different perspectives on that. But that's one of the subjects. Another one is paying dues. We're going to be talking about paying dues. Sabu's going to be calling in a little bit later, my friend Justin McCully, and you know what paying dues was like, you know, so just for the subject, Gwiz, how about you just left WWE recently. In WWE, you know, when you were wrestling, it was sometimes in front of 10,000 people. You know, they get you on pay-per-view. You know, the merchandise is unlimited. That depends on how much they want to make of you, and that's all marketability. But how about like 15 years ago, when you were just, you know, paying your dues, wrestling like 5 matches in one day for Universal Studios, when you allegedly met RVD?
RVD, let me tell you, before that, it was about a year and a half ago, before I went to Orlando and did wrestle you. And one day, I'm going to produce that tape, and you're going to see, because I'll never forget it. Just to let the fans know, me and Rob been going through this for the past 15 years. I've been telling Rob. He's telling me another time, the first time he ever met me, and I'm saying, no. We met for Eddie Mansfield in Orlando. It had to be back in 1990, like I would say 1996. And we did have a match there. And one day, I'm going to prove to you, and I know you don't believe me, but we had that match. If anybody's listening now and knows about that match, send an email to Van Dam, send an email to me, send video, because I would love to see it, because I'm trying to look for it myself, because till this day, Rob Van Dam realized that we met back then. But that's
this would be 1991, right?
And it had it. Yes, what I said.
92 maybe.
Yeah. Right, 91, 92, yeah. Wait, yes, before 95, right. I said 95 because that's when ECW was going, right. Actually, it was not 91 because I was still in New Jersey at that. It was 1992 because it was the first time I ever left New York and actually got a chance to wrestle in a different area. So that was definitely 1992, maybe close to 93. And that's when Eddie Mansfield was doing a bunch of shows up in Universal Studios for the, I think it was the what was that?
Eddie was doing the IWF at that time.
Yes, IWF.
International Wrestling Federation. I'm talking about paying dues. At the time, we would do 5 weeks worth of television show all in one day. And I don't know about you, Gwiz, but I was making the big $50 for my day of work, which averages out to $10 a match.
Well, actually, RVD, I hate to say it, but you got me beat by 25. Because you would get 50, I was getting 25, and we wrestled the 5 match because, like you said, in Universal Studios, you used to do all the tapings in one day. So you would go out there and wrestle 5 times and in front of the same people. And that was actually, it was interesting, but actually, in a way, it was a good way to learn because you learned how to, like that other guy that was just talking to you, learn how to sometimes change certain things. You know, it's always good to wrestle in front of a different thing. It's very hard to wrestle in front of the same crowd, but it's very, very interesting, but just very different, you know.
Right, yeah, I've often tried to give advice to some young guys that came in a totally non-traditional way. Well, the new way, not the way you and I came up, but guys that actually get paid to fucking train in a school, which is opposite from us. We had to pay a tuition, bump our ass off just to even get accepted into the school, and then work our way up there with no guarantees. Now there's guys that sign a contract, get paid, and to learn how to wrestle, and then get thrown out there into the world of wrestling, and then the experienced guys have the job now of showcasing the green talent by, you know, not exposing their weaknesses and making them look really good. Meanwhile, a lot of times the big payday is going to the new guy, you know, and then of course there's resentment. People are bitter. Why? Because they say that guy didn't pay his dues. And, you know, I agree. I see both sides of the coin, but since this is you know, the business that I've done my entire life, I lean more towards the traditional way. And I've often tried to explain to the guys what they're missing out on, because they start out on top wrestling in front of big crowds with a big push behind them, and then afterwards when the company chews them up and spits them out, then the indie shows will use them because they got TV exposure, but they have no idea what they're doing then.
Well, you know what, Rob? You nailed it on the head, because when you start on top and go to those kind of places where they already put you in a situation to produce, and then you don't realize what it takes. You never wrestled in front of 50 people, 75 people, 100 people. You started your career right away wrestling in front of hundreds of thousands of people. You know what, though? When it all ends, the difference is they don't appreciate. Once that ends, and they start wrestling in front of 500, 300, 200, they don't appreciate it. Where a guy like me or you, who started wrestling in front of 50, 100, 300, went to, 30, 40,000.
I remember one time in 1990 when there was 4 tickets sold at this show in Fort Wayne, Indiana, at a VFW building. 4 plus, but really there was close to 40 people in the building because a lot of people brought their girlfriends or moms.
Hey, did you do the 3-star frog splash? You didn't
Couldn't
give a 5-star.
The ceiling was too low. You hit your head if you did a leapfrog.
I thought maybe you would have hit you. And you know what, Rob? No, you would. I'm just putting you over. You probably, in front of those 5 people, you probably would have hit the 5-star. I guarantee that.
Hey, I'm out to show what I got, man. That's no use in holding back. Hey, Guido, I got somebody calling in that says he met you. You might know him. He's my webmaster at robvandam.com. What's up, Eric?
Hey, what's up, fellas? Eric, how are you?
Speak to us. Now, where did you say that you met the Quizinator?
Yes, sir, man. Absolute pleasure meeting him. We actually met down in Miami. I guess this is going back last April, down at a little party down in South Beach. I don't know if he remembers me, but...
don't get him in trouble now. Don't get him in trouble. What kind of party was it?
I want to remember. Tell you, we wrestled in Miami, obviously. That must have met you out, right, in a bar?
Yeah, absolutely. We were out. I think it was somebody's birthday. But yeah, I got a chance to meet you, and actually I've been a big fan of yours for quite some time. And just want to say it was an absolute pleasure meeting you, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it very much. Thank you very much.
Sir,
man.
So Eric, man, the website looks fucking awesome. I get a lot of people all the time telling me that they look at robvandam.com and they send me compliments at how awesome it looks. But you're always like improving it, and you're always looking to upgrade it and stuff. And we're going to be pulling the veil off of the veil. We're going to be pulling the we're going to be opening the curtains on an entirely new and improved looking website in the real near future, aren't we?
That's right. I just want to let everybody know, RVD TV fans out there, that we're going to be definitely coming out with something pretty big for everybody, and keeping coming back, and there's going to be some big things happening. So
lots of big stuff, and we like to promote shit when we already have it done so we can talk about it. But I'm excited, dude, and we're talking about being grateful today, so I just thought I'm just going with the vibe, man. 2009 is going to fucking rock. I got so many projects on the table, and I'm excited because I know for sure, something really good is going to happen. It's going to be a great year, and I don't even know what it is yet, and I don't even need to know. I'm not even stressing that I don't know what it is. I'm a free spirit that way. That's the way that I go. That's the way I roll. That's the way I live. But I am stoked. What are you grateful for, Eric?
I'm grateful to have my health and all of my friends and family and everybody being happy, and especially also having you as a friend. Let me tell you, over the past year or so, ever since you came into my life, I've had a lot of positive energy, and things have been really good, man. So even people out there that don't know, regardless of you're not a wrestling fan, if you go onto RVD TV, you can learn a lot, and pass it on to some friends, because it's definitely something that will definitely help you out in the near future and make you feel really good. So,
Hey, I've got this DVD project I'll be announcing real soon with the RVD TV episodes on DVD format. And something I learned yesterday, this isn't wrestling, it's special interest. Ooh. So, yeah, you don't have to be a wrestling fan. But it's loaded with celebrities. You could be a fan of Jay Moore or Jack Hare or Black Eyed Peas or whoever I hang out with. I live in Hollywood, and, well, not really.
Hang out with everybody.
Actually, by the way, nobody lives in Hollywood, because Hollywood was its own city when it got in 1903, and it only lasted for 7 years. In 1910, it got annexed with Los Angeles because they needed a water supply. So if anybody tells you they have Hollywood on their address, they're full of shit, and you should know that. I'm just giving you something to leave here with, guys.
Yeah, gave it to us.
Right.
Well,
awesome, dude. Well, I got a whole bunch of calls, man. Thanks for calling in, Eric. I'm gonna put Harry Slash on the line, our correspondent from the East Coast. When's the last time you talked to Slash, Guido?
Actually, it wasn't Harry. Hang on a second. Harry, I probably talked to you in Manhattan Center at the Hammerstein a couple of years ago when they brought back the one-night stand. Am I correct? Or 2 years ago, or maybe 3 years?
No, I didn't go to that one.
All right, but I saw you within the past 3 years, though.
Probably, yeah.
Well, you guys both live in New York, so I'm not that impressed. But it's cool. You guys are keeping in touch with each other. This is ECW heritage, way back, old school, original roots. We all come from that same mold, which means there will always be family. Am I right?
Yeah, no doubt. Actually, Guido, I think that was a few months ago up in Yonkers, some local show that you went and hung out at.
That's exactly what it was. It was in Yonkers, yes. Yes,
yeah,
it was
Jerry,
when Sandman was in, yes. It was in Yonkers.
There, some other old guys from ECW were there, too.
Yep. Yeah. Actually,
ECW.
Yeah, that was actually, it wasn't an ECW show. I forget the guy who was running it, but I know what you're talking about. Yes, okay, that's what it was. Okay. You know what? And Rob, you know this too, dude. When you're traveling around and stuff, you see everybody. You see them in different places, and one time, 2 weeks ago, you might see them. It could feel like 3 months ago. Meanwhile, you only see them 2 weeks ago. And you guys know the way that is. But yeah,
you know what's really funny? For me, like one of the guys that it always cracks me up when I see him is Too Cold Scorpio. It just cracks me up because I see him in the most random places. I might see him in New York one day, and then 2 years later I might see him in Japan, and then next time I see him 6 months later we'll be in Germany. We just like run into each other all over the world, and we always know when we see each other, it's 420.
It's 420. Well, I'll tell you what, Rob, you want to know something about Too Cold? And I feel very bad, actually. Actually, a couple of years, I know Too Cold for a while. a couple of years ago, when I guess he came back to WWE. Actually, we were walking in the hallway, and I guess I was walking by and I saw him. And you know what? I didn't recognize him. I didn't see him for a while. And you know, this is Too Cold Scorpio, who's a big star in the business and everything. And I know Too Cold from ECW, so like I knew who he was, But I just didn't. I said hello, but I just didn't recognize him because I haven't seen him in a couple of years. And a little while later in the day, somebody's like, "Oh, I was talking." They're like, "Oh yeah, talking about Too Cold." I'm like, "Too Cold Scorpio's here?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, man, blah, blah, blah. He's right over there." And I'll tell you what, Rob, I'm like, holy shit, that's Too Cold. So I went over there, and I'm like, hey, Too Cold, what's up? He's like, oh, man, you're dissing me. And you know what, I felt very bad. I'm like, no, I'm not dissing you. I just didn't recognize him because I haven't seen him in so long. He's always a happy guy, jolly guy, like just another guy, And I felt bad because I just didn't recognize. You walk by, I just didn't recognize him. And ever since that day, I'll tell you what, it always bothered me because I have a lot of respect for Too Cold and actually all the veterans, like everybody, And you always want to respect the guys and stuff. And now you bring his name up.
Hey, Harry, let me ask you a question real quick, man. Talking about paying dues, you got any cool paying dues stories from the rock and roll business?
Yeah, a little bit from both, from wrestling. As far as music, the equivalent of paying dues in music is when you're playing in a club at 3 o'clock in the morning and getting paid like $3.
Right.
It's the same as in pro wrestling. You end up traveling for like 9 hours to do one show, and when all is said and done, after you deduct gas and tolls and expenses and all that, it comes out to like 30 cents an hour.
Right, yeah. You do it, and millions of other people are doing it too, and you want to be happy and grateful to be able to be there and do it and work your way up, right?
Well, the whole thing in any creative field, be it acting, music, professional wrestling, anything that involves in performance, if you're getting...
I like porn.
That too, but if you were getting into it right away just for the money, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. You have to... Right,
exactly. I was just talking to somebody about that earlier, about MMA, but it goes with anything. You have to do it because you love it, and then you're all set. As long as you're doing it because you love it, that's all right. You should never get into anything like entertainment just because you think you might be able to make money at it, because the odds are so stacked against you.
Yeah.
Let me go to a caller. Steve
Rob,
from California. What's up, dude?
Rob, you know what? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I got his caller.
Oh, hey, Steve, are you with me and Gwiz and Harry Slash? I'm going to give you one more chance. You're pissing off Nunzio. Does it Steve from California. You're on, dude.
Hey, what's up?
What's going on, Steve? How are you?
Hey, how's it going, little Guido, man? How's it going, RVD? It's good to hear you guys, man.
Everything's good. What were you going to say, Gwiz? Now that we got his attention, what were you going to say, Gwiz?
Sorry, bro, I'm zoning. Hey, man, I just was going to ask Guido, hey, do you have any future plans, possibly TNA or maybe even AAA? When are we going to see you again?
Well, the plans are on the table, I guess. My contract just came up a couple of weeks ago, so obviously, if I could talk to someone for TNA or I don't know about what you say, MMA. I don't think I'll be going to do that, but maybe go back to Japan or something like that. Definitely keep in the pro wrestling industry, but there's a lot of different things that's going on, and I'm just trying to dabble in a few different things. Honestly, it's kind of new. I just got released a few months ago. And my contract just came up, so now I could talk to a lot more people. And I'm kind of like, at this moment in my life, I'm kind of figuring out what I'm going to do in my life and where I'm going to go and what's going on. I've been with WWE for 6 years, and before that I was with ECW for 4 years, and before that I was with a Japanese company for about 3 years. So for the past 12 years, I've been in the wrestling business, and now things are different, and I'm back on the indie circuit, and I'm kind of just finding my own at the moment right now. It's kind of all new to me. Kind of like Rob, Rob, he didn't get released. Actually, he left on his own. But at the same thing, it takes you time to kind of figure out what you want to do, and that's what I'm figuring out. What's going on. I know I want to keep in the wrestling business, but what contacts to make and who to talk to, and in the business, you got to do everything just right to make sure
it's
go right. Yeah, boy, I didn't talk to him. Oh, no, hey, Rob, you know what? I just did a convention. Hang on a second. You want to talk about porn? I just did a convention on Sunday, and the kid that, the Christmas Story.
Oh, yeah.
That's right, Daddy. That's right, Daddy.
Hey, Fonzie, let Guido talk. Sorry, dude. Yeah, Scott Schwartz is a good friend of mine. He must have sent a message through Nunzio. That's funny. I call you something different every time I refer to you. Nunzio, Guido, Quiz. But anyway, yeah, he's the kid that in A Christmas Story stuck his tongue to the pole and said, "Exact," which we have to see on a 24-hour loop every Christmas. Then he was Master Bates in The Toy with Richard Pryor. Then he went on to do a porn.
Anyway, that's what I say. You know, it's funny because when we were just talking, I'm like, wow. He's like, my first 2 movies was with Jackie Gleason and Richard Pryor. I'm like, wow, you can't start a fucking better career than that. You're in a movie with Jackie
no shit, right?
Pryor. And then he went into the porn, you know, and then I didn't get into that with him, but we were just talking about...
I think it's just like a lot of child actors that end up, you know, when they're older, they end up, you know, getting into, you know, trying to keep their name going. So did he tell you that he knew me?
Yeah, we talked about you. We went to the Japanese restaurant, and we just threw some names out. You know, we talked about Sabu, and then Rob. We talked about you, and he said he knew a bunch of the guys. He's a wrestling fan. Like he knew. A lot of the guys. Oh, yeah, I was surprised. Like I was talking to him at a comic convention for RVD TV, and he started. I don't know. We were just joking around, talking silly, you know, and he said something about that he had a small dick. I said, dude, that's not going to keep you out of wrestling. And he goes, well, tell that to Pat Patterson. I was like, whoa. Look, I guess this guy actually is into wrestling. I didn't even know. I just, you know, but. Yeah, I guess if you go that deep, I guess you're into it. But no, he definitely, I could tell by the way he was talking that he knew what wrestling was all about. You know, so
right.
He was very entertaining. Actually, it was a very enjoyable show. We were getting over a different thing, but they had a bunch of crazy people. We met a few of the Jasons, and it was a good convention. It was good.
Yeah, those things are really fun. Hi, baby.
Hi.
Sonia just got here.
Sonia.
Hey, Grizz. What's up?
Sonia, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I hear you're doing great. Rob gives me all the updates. I'm very happy you're doing good, and on the full recovery, of course. And that's a good thing.
I am kicking cancer's ass.
You're a survivor. That's very important.
I am.
Hell
it was
yeah,
a
you
splash
are.
mask, right?
Yeah, she's got 2 more treatments, man. In my mind, I feel like we're already there after what we've been through. Harry Slash is on the line, too, baby.
Hey, Harry Slash. What's up?
Sonia, what's up, Sonia? What's happening?
Not a whole lot. Just getting ready for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Are you
that's a lot of
cooking? Sonia, are you cooking, or what are you guys doing? Are you having it at your house, or where are you going?
Yeah, we're having it here. We've got like 10 people coming over.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Actually, I'll throw a plug out there. Actually, tomorrow I'm going to, you know what, the fans may not care, but I'm going to put this out there. My grandmother lives in Howard Beach. She's 100 years old. And we are going there.
Awesome.
We are going to Howard Beach tomorrow and celebrate with my grandmother and about 10, 15 of aunts, uncles, and, you know, family and stuff. Most importantly is my grandmother, who's 100 years old. So that's
awesome, dude. Oh, congratulations. That's so cool. She was so she was born in 1908, 2 years before Hollywood got annexed with LA, baby. I thought we were nuts with my Hollywood trivia, but I'm really into it. But yeah, so that's awesome. So speaking about being grateful, you know, I mean, it's hard to not be grateful when I got all the positive energy that Sonia has, all the crap that we've been going through, you know, as far as having to make several trips routinely to the hospital and then all the testing and all this chemo. If she was one of those miserable people that focus on the negative, we would both be absolutely no good. We would just be pieces of trash right now. But because she's strong and because she's positive and she's able to look at the big picture and be grateful and happy for life, you know, I mean, that's amazing. And I mean, that's just like the best case scenario. We get along so good because we're both grateful spirits in that way.
Absolutely.
Rob, I'll tell you what.
Here, I'm just grateful to be alive.
I give you a lot of credit for it because I can't speak for you because only somebody that the doctor tells them they have that can understand and then go through life, you know, and you got diagnosed and experienced it and went through life in a positive way, which is just what Rob is saying. Many people are different. You don't know how you would handle that. God forbid somebody tells you, you have something like that. But you were positive and strong. It's a great thing. And, hopefully everybody that's listening that gets diagnosed with something like that could be positive and strong because you're living proof, and many others, too, that are living proof that can beat it, and everything's going to be good, and you're going to be fine. I give you guys.
Oh yeah, no, you're so right about that. You really don't know how you're going to react until the doctor just looks you square in the face and says, "I'm 99% sure you have cancer." I mean, you really don't know. Your whole world gets turned upside down, and it really makes you stop and think what's important, what's not important, you know, and you really get your priorities in line real quick. Because there was about a 3-day period from the time I got diagnosed, from the time I went in for a CAT scan to see if the cancer had spread throughout my body. And let me tell you, that is the longest 3 days of my life.
I bet it is. You know what? And I don't know how that is, because you have to be in that predicament to understand how that is. You know, kind of like in a way, you know, nobody ever knows how it is to lose a mom and a dad. You know, your friend loses a dad, you can't say, oh, I know how you feel, but you don't know how they feel. That has to happen to you if you lose a parent or something. Same thing with your situation. How do you know when they tell you something like that? So I give you a lot of credit. You're a very positive person. You're always worried. Rob said it too. So, and everything's good now.
Another purveyor of positive energy, a good friend of mine, Officer X, has called in. I want to let you on the line in case you got some kind words for us, Officer X.
What's going on out there?
Hey, man, we're grateful. What are you grateful for?
Oh, I'm grateful for it. My 10 fingers, my 10 toes, my half a brain, my family, friends, health insurance, my everything. Everything that comes in my way, good or bad.
You're not working tonight, are you? Are you on the shift tonight, or you're off tonight?
Just got out, buddy. Just got out about 10 minutes ago.
Oh, that's not bad. Are you off tomorrow?
No. I'm grateful I got a job to go to tomorrow, Guido.
Yeah, well, you know what? That's something you got that I don't, so that's good for you, brother.
I was out with your boy the other night.
My boy?
Yeah, your friend from Yonkers.
Who?
Tommy.
Dreamer? Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah.
When were you out from it with him?
That's my boy. Give him a call. I seen him the other day after the show.
Well, I actually just spoke to him a couple of hours ago, but I will definitely call him when I get off the phone now that I'm talking to you.
He's my boy. He's a great guy. The best.
I will definitely call him.
No, anyways, man, I'm grateful for everything. I'm grateful. One day I'm working at a show in the Northeast, and I'm running into my friend RVD, and then we become pals.
Hey, let me ask you a question. Do you work in? Are you a police officer in New Jersey?
No.
Okay, you know why I asked that? One time, me and Tommy Dreamer were driving a Jersey Turnpike. Tommy Dreamer was doing about 95 miles an hour, and we got pulled over by a trooper on the New Jersey Turnpike. And when he came out of the car, Tommy Dreamer on his Mercedes used to have DDT 123. So the guy asks for his driver's license and everything. And he looks at it and says, Tom Lockland, obviously. And at that time is when Tommy had the very bad back. Rob, I'm sure you'll remember. Remember he had a bad back for a while?
Yeah, always.
Always. But he was going back and forth, too, to Philly. So we were driving to Philly, and he goes, Tommy Dreamer, you shouldn't be doing 95 with a bad back. And me and Tom were sitting in the car, and we were looking at this guy, and we were like, wow. We're not knowing he was a fan. But ever since then, we became friends with him and used to get him tickets all the time. Now, I've lost touch with him ever since ECW closed, and that's why when I heard Trooper and everything, I was thinking maybe, because you mentioned Tommy Dreamer, too, so I was just clicking on my mind. That's an old story that I'm sharing with the fans that happened back in the day.
Hey, is that a paying dues story?
That's not a paying dues. I paid many dues before that.
No, hey, paying dues is so important in everything, even with the police work. The guys that come in that had a father or grandfather or uncle, they become detectives in 2 weeks, and it's the same stuff, you know?
Oh, I bet, yeah. I was glad, you gave me some feedback. The episode that we did on RVD TV where we talked about paying dues, you were a big fan of that. You said those are stories that have to be told.
Oh, they absolutely do. You know, I mean, everybody just thinks it, and you end up, I mean, and you know, from being friends with you and Backlund and Tommy and these other guys, you know, nobody just ends up in a pay-per-view, you know, it's just sleeping in the hotel rooms, and people don't realize that stuff, you know?
No, I know. Sabu should be coming in about 10 minutes or so, and Sabu has been there since the beginning for me. You know, I was 18 years old, 1 week before my 19th birthday, December '89, when I met Sabu and the Sheik, and I started, I walked into their family. I started training with them. And so Sabu's always been, I was very young, still living at home, so when I'd go on the road, he wasn't just teaching me how to wrestle, he was teaching me how to be a man. I would see how he treated people. I would see when he gave money to homeless people begging, you know, I would see his gratitude. I'd see what he was grateful and happy for, and I was so happy at the time because I wanted to wrestle so bad, even though, you know, I was getting $35 one night, you know, maybe $40 the next night, driving 700 miles around from, you know, the USWA loop from Memphis, Nashville, Louisville, and, you know, I was just so happy to be there. But I always think about that, about paying dues. I think about Sabu, myself, Judge Dredd, the guy that was my best friend growing up. They called him Dong Cha Meng at the time. 4 of us, and even Candido sometimes would hop in with us. We met him way back then, and he was with Tammy back then. We would all split a ride, split a hotel, a $28 hotel room we'd all split because we were so broke. That was paying dues. That was because, you know, but I've always said this, and Gwiz, tell me if you like this or not. I was telling my parents this the other day. Pro wrestling is like a facade. It's like you can get the fame without the fortune. Everybody thinks that you're a big star because you're on TV, but you don't quite necessarily have the same lifestyle as George Clooney, who'll come in and fly in on his helicopter to be on next week's RVD radio.
Rob, I don't have to say another word. You said it. I did nothing else to say.
Indeed. So, Officer Keenan.
Indeed.
Oh, man, who is that? Who is that? Anyway, Officer
Guido. Hey, Guido.
You heard that? You heard that disappointment, baby?
I heard
Hey, Guido, you ever
do that every week.
Hey, you ever decide to rob a bank, don't put RVD on the crew.
No, Rob will be, I wouldn't put Rob in the getaway.
Hey,
I got listen, can I say if I'm going to rob a fucking bank here? I'm about to rob a bank. RVD, you're into my clique. No, if I'm going to rob a bank, you're right. RVD, it wouldn't be in it, and he wouldn't be driving a car. I know that. He wouldn't be in trouble. He wouldn't be driving.
We would all be in very big trouble.
Well, we would get away with nothing.
Now we're speaking with the brains of the operation, SVD out there. Thank God for you.
And I'm grateful for Sonia. Speaking of today's topic, I got my producer Nikki on the line, and Nikki is she's on with today's subject, talking about positive energy, talking about being grateful. She's not on the show very often, although she's standing by, and I think usually people that call in get to meet her online, and I think she just unmuted herself. She muted herself. I unmuted her back.
Hi.
Hi, Nikki from RVD Radio.
How are you?
I'm awesome. How are you?
I'm doing great, and I am so multitasking, just so you know, like, seriously. But I just want to say something really quick. My attitude of gratitude is that I am so grateful to be involved in this show, and I love SVD, and you have to give thanks. Nikki, we love you too. Honey, no, for real. You have to, I just want you to have all my love and blessings because you're such an inspiration to me. Every day, you know, sometimes I wake up and I'm like, oh, my God, I have a headache, whatever. I mean, for real. And so you're such an inspiration to me, and I just want to share that, and I'm just so happy to be involved with this show, and you're such a great inspiration. That's what I wanted to say. Wow, thank you so much. That's the first time I've been told that. That's awesome. That feels good.
See, you made her feel good. I was talking about how easy it is to spread energy. You give someone a compliment. You say, wow, you got beautiful eyes, or I really like that shirt, or whatever. Kind of like what happened right there. Nikki said that to Sonia. She sincerely, got pumped up with energy. She lit up, and she was like, wow, and you made her feel good, and that should make you feel good by making her feel good. That's how we get ahead. Spiritually, that's how we ascend, because the higher state of positive energy that we can keep ourselves in, the more susceptible we are to positiveness coming back in our lives, the more on track we are. And Officer X, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say Yeah, when I say on track, that's what it's about. We're grateful for being on track. When you feel good and things are working, those are signs that you're on track. You're right where you're supposed to be. When you're feeling bad and things aren't working out, you're not connected. You're off track, and you're not where you're supposed to be. You need to get back on. Best way to do that is to keep yourself in that positive state of mind, positive energy, positive input, positive output as much as possible, and that's the best way to feel good, to get the most out of life, and to live in what I call the magic of life.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree.
All right,
and
Nick.
I just want to thank you very much for letting me be a part of this. And SVD, you rock, and I think about you every day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nikki. You rock, too. That's awesome.
So awesome. So glad we got Nikki on the show. When we first started doing this RVD radio, I don't think Blog Talk Radio knew that I was going to have such a huge turnout. They didn't know how cool RVD was, but luckily all the people did know and they tuned in. Little Guido, you've known for a long time. Appreciate you hanging out. You got time to hang out and take some more calls?
I got time, brother. Do what you got to do.
All right, cool.
Hey,
I'm going to go to Sheaf from Connecticut because he's sharing the same weather as Officer X up there, and I bet you're all freezing your balls off.
Oh, it sucks. I'm not grateful for the cold.
But you're grateful for your coat and socks, huh?
Buddy, long underwear, thermal socks, boots, earmuffs.
I'm grateful that Sheaf called because I've never met anybody named Sheaf before. What up, Sheaf?
Not too much. First, I just want to start by saying I'm a huge fan of yours.
Appreciate that, dude.
The question I have kind of goes back to the whole paying your dues kind of thing. A guy recently got released from the WWE named Kenny Dykstra, Ken Dunn, from the Spirit Squad.
Okay.
And he posted a blog, and he was seriously thought hurt because Creative never had anything for him, and really, he never really did anything to, he even said himself, Creative never gave him anything because he never really tried. Do you think, he has the right to have that attitude and being pissed off because they released him, or is he just being, a butthurt little bitch, quite frankly?
Gwiz, would you like to take a stab at that before I crack it open?
Well, I don't really, honestly, I don't know his whole story because I wasn't really around when he was going. He had a great opportunity, and I think he produced very well when he was in the Spirit Squad, and then they started using him on the outside. Kenny's a young guy. He's about 21, 22. And then I think they could have put him on the back burner for a little while. And I don't know, I guess maybe how he was handling that. I think it all goes by, when I was 21, I didn't even know, it was a dream to get to the WWF. I was working independents. It took me many years to get there. It's just a different scenario. I don't know if he had the right to be upset that they didn't use him right, or maybe if he worked indies for many years and then came to WWE, it could have been a different story. It was a little different. He came through, I think, the developmental system. So I don't really know. It's kind of different. He came from the inside of business where you're talking to a guy that never was in the developmental or anything like that, but worked their way into the WWE. So maybe not. He was a very young guy to be in the position that he was in. And he was very talented, don't get me wrong. He's a great talent and, good person and everything. But I think maybe if he got a chance to actually work on the indies for a little while and shuffle around and do different things and then come to WWE, maybe he would have had a different light. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's what I'm thinking.
All right, well, let me add this, okay? Sonia had a friend staying over here recently. A friend of hers came to visit who's an animal trainer at the zoo. She trains giraffes, elephants, all kinds of shit. Pretty fascinating. But she said that our dog Xena has a princess complex because Xena would growl when she went to move the pillow that Xena was on, and she had to show that she was dominant, like the dog whisperer, hey, and try and dominate our dog. She said she has a princess complex. And a few hours later, she realized after being around us that it's not a princess complex if you are a princess. Xena, our dog, has been told she's a princess her entire life. We spoil the shit out of her, and the world is hers. She's a princess. I think that if you're young and you come into the business by being paid while you're learning how to wrestle and then you come in and you're thrown right into a storyline with a push, you know, getting major TV time, and then even beating well-established wrestlers who've been wrestling many, many more years than you. Man, I don't know exactly, you know, and, you know, you get to fuck Mickey James.
Holy shit, you're rude. You're fucking
okay, no, now I'm getting personal. I know, but what I am saying though is, I would think, you know, that he should be grateful. I didn't read his blog, so I'm not just saying that about him personally, except Mickey James' part. But I am saying that that, you know, anybody in the position of this story that we hear, yeah, when they come up, you know, they should be grateful for what they had. But still, at the same time, let me explain the other side of the coin, too. If you are that princess and you are promised the world and the world is not delivered, then of course you have a right to be bitter. All too often I see superstars of many different fields of entertainment getting a lot of shit because of something small when they get a lot. You know, they'll say, oh my God, you know, he had to have a 30-foot limo, and just because it had a white interior and not a purple interior, the guy who caused a big deal wouldn't get in it, caused us all this money and ruined the day. Okay, fine, but fuck, if his contract says he gets the white interior and that's what he's promised, and you show him a purple interior, then guess what? You broke the contract. You are doing bad business on your end. I look at it that way too. If you know, so you got to be inside someone's skin, you know, to really feel how fucking cold it is in Connecticut.
Rob.
Yo.
Rob. That was my friend Ricky. This is Real Chief from Connecticut.
Oh, right, dude. Well, you guys are tag teaming it up there, huh?
Yeah. Listen, I had a question for you.
Okay, let's have it.
I just turned 16 on November 9th, and...
Well, you have a very deep voice for 16. Stay away from pot until you're 21.
Oh, I was about to ask you your thoughts on teenagers with marijuana, because I just enjoyed some today, and I found out about this radio show and figured I'd call in and ask.
Awesome, dude. You got a deep voice, Mr. Sheaf, but appreciate your call, and I always appreciate being able to give my full story on this, because just because I'm an advocate for the utilization of cannabis does not mean that I think kids should smoke it. I don't think kids should smoke pot. I don't think that they should fuck each other. I don't think they should be drinking. I don't think they should do pornos. I think or watch porn. I think that there's certain rights for adults, and I think that when you're an adult that you get that right. I think when you're a kid that you need to focus on being a kid, that you do need to be sober, and you need to get your education, because when you're a kid, that's when you're training and learning how to be an adult. When you're an adult, that is when the stress is hit. Unless, of course, the doctor recommends it because you have bone cancer and you got your leg amputated, in which case, if the doctor recommends it and it's state legal, like it is in 13 of the states. Out of how many states do we got, baby?
50.
What are you panicking for?
I didn't know what you were going to ask. You never know what's going to come out of your mouth.
Hey, what does that mean? At least I know what's going in my mouth. That's just important, right? So, yeah, anyway, 13 states. Gwiz, you might not know this, but 25% of the American population now lives under medical marijuana law. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, well, I know a lot of them are, besides California, because that was my first. I believe Phoenix, right? I think Phoenix has that, too.
Yeah, Phoenix isn't even a state, so I'm not gonna, before we get there,
I was talking about legalizing, not that states, but legalizing or going on. Maybe I'm wrong, man. I don't know. I don't know as much as you guys do, so you got me beat on that.
Very, very few people do know as much as me about that. But when it comes to wrestling, of course, I have a mentor just like everybody else, and you know him, and he's on the line with us. What up, Sabu?
Hey, what's up, Rob?
Hey, thanks for calling in, man. I got on the line with us Nunzio.
Nunzio.
Sabu, what's up, bud?
Hey, what's up, man? I was talking the other night.
Yes, we did. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Not bad. Good to hear from you again.
Sweet.
And I also got a good friend of mine, Officer X, on the line. He's a police officer from the East Coast who I believe you've met. What up, Officer X? Do I have you off mute or are you muted?
I'm muted. Am I off mute?
Hello.
Hey, Sabu. Nice to talk to you again.
Nice to talk to you, man.
And then also the music guy, our correspondent from New York, if I can unmute him. Harry Slash, what up? Say hi to Sabu.
What up, Sabu?
What's up, Harry Slash?
What's happening?
Not much.
Awesome. All right, so there's the intros. And also, Sabu, I got SVD with me.
Hey, Sabu.
Oh. Hey, Sabu.
The most important. The most important out of all of us.
All right.
So awesome. Thanks for calling in. I got a bunch of callers. I got a bunch of listeners. I got a bunch of people online to call in. Just to give you a heads up, got a couple topics today. We're talking about being grateful. You know, it's Thanksgiving tomorrow. People think about being grateful. But to carry it further, Sabu, when we rode together the last bit of when I was with WWE, or the last bit when you were with them and we were at ECW, you know that I was always talking about coincidences, and I was always trying to talk about tapping into the whole spiritual positive energy ascension, and being grateful. I was talking about The Secret, you know, and talking about stuff like that. We're talking about being grateful and how much that affects your life. You know, if you're grateful and you're happy to be somewhere, you know, then you vibrate at a certain speed, and that brings good things towards you, as opposed of, you know, somebody that's like really negative and they focus on all the bad stuff and they bitch and complain. Nobody wants to be around them. I don't know if they want to be around themselves. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's my formula. I say, think about this. Would you want to be around yourself? You know? But something else that we're talking about is paying dues. So I wanted to talk with you about some stories about when we started out, and you know, like back in the USWA, when me and you and Judge Dredd and Dango and sometimes Candida, we'd all go to the Old Country buffet and try so that for $7 we could like eat enough to try and cover like lunch and dinner if we stayed there long enough, and then all go back to a hotel room where we pulled the tops off the beds and then split it up so that somebody would sleep on the box spring, somebody would sleep on a mattress on every bed.
Right. Yep.
And then you rolled Judge Dredd up in the mattress like a burrito.
Hey, let me ask you a question, Rob. Is Judge Dredd the guy that used to sit in the front row for a while? Is that Judge Dredd?
No, that's Judge Judy.
No. Remember the guy that used to be in, like, man, you guys, we used to go up to Jim Thorpe. Who was the guy that used to sit in the front row that actually came in and did something with Raven for a while? It was like Judge Dredd or something. That was his name.
Oh, I know who he's talking about, dude. He's talking about dreadlocks.
Dreadlocks, yes.
Yeah, Dredd.
That dude was cool. He was crazy, but I enjoyed him.
Yeah, we enjoyed it. He came into the locker room for a couple of shows, and I think he just said, you know what, this shit ain't for fucking me.
We let him in because he had good smoke.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. My very first time at the ECW arena, they had the little outhouse gimmick in the warehouse section. I was walking towards that, and I smelled it, and he was over there with a wrestler hitting the pipe, going, "Hey, Rob, you know, you want a blaze?" And I was like, "Oh my God, I love it here."
He went from the front row to the locker room. He moved it real quick.
Yeah.
No, okay. Here's what happened with that guy.
No, he actually wrestled for a little while. Didn't he go train or something after that?
No, here's the deal, though. He went to the ECW school where I think Saturn and Taz, I think, were the trainers, and he wanted to get into the business because Raven insulted his girl during a show. That was his story. He wanted to get into the business because he wanted to fight Raven because when Raven was working a match, he said something rude to his girl. So, of course, he wasn't going to make it very far. They beat the shit out of him.
Right, yeah.
Oh, when was that? Where was that?
That was at the school.
Oh, that was in the wrestling school. Okay, I didn't know when he insulted his girlfriend. I remember him and Jim Thorpe. That's his thing.
Harry Slash, you remember Dredd?
He did the Philly, New York, and New Jersey tripod there.
Right.
You know,
that area.
He did the travel of the 3 states.
Asparagus triangulation.
If I remember, he never quite made it out of the school.
Right.
Well, he only made it like 3 weeks. He didn't do anything, really, like 3 months.
They beat the shit out of him. I think they broke his arm or something, but I know that, you know, they didn't want him in and made it very obvious, and we didn't see him again.
Well, dude,
we didn't even see him as a fan. He didn't come back as a wrestler. We didn't see him as a fan. We lost everything.
As a fag.
Because he was a fan in the beginning, wasn't he?
Fan, okay.
He was a
fan.
fan, but we lost everything.
Hey, I went to the school a couple of times, not to train, just to see what was going on. And when it was Taz and Perry running it, you know how some trainers do good cop, bad cop? Well, Taz and Perry were bad cop, bad cop.
Nice.
Robert Dudley was in the middle cop.
He was the fat cop.
Even before Bubba got there, when it was just the two of them, I would go there, like, for whatever reason I had to, you know, for business or just to hang out and kill a day. And there were guys, they were brutalizing these kids. And the whole thing is, like, if they can make it out of here, they're going to make it in the business. If they can't deal with what we're doing to them, what are they going to do when they get in a ring with a veteran that's going to shoot on them?
Well,
yeah. Well, yeah, but whatever. He didn't have a chance anyway, you know. But
they didn't give him a chance, you know.
Right.
He was marked from the day he walked in, you know.
Of course, you can't come in because you want to beat a wrestler up.
Right.
That's a movie. That's a movie, not real life.
Right. That's a movie.
You know, not a very good movie either, by the way.
You know what, Rob? Besides Hillbilly Jim, you also don't come in the business of sitting in the stands for a few months, you know, and then come into the business. Because I believe, maybe I'm wrong, isn't that how he started? Wasn't he always a fan for a while, like sitting in the first or second row for months?
He sat in the front row next to, like there was that hat guy, and there's a guy that wore the Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. And he sat there too, like within that group. Yeah. Always.
Yeah.
Besides Hillbilly Jim, you know, who else done that? And obviously we know Hillbilly Jim was a gimmick to get in.
Anyway, he's getting way too much airtime on RVD radio. Sabu, my good friend Bruce Jingles want to tell you something.
RVD, motherfucker! RVD, motherfucker!
Is that Michael Jackson?
Yeah. That's Bruce
Justin
Jingles.
McCully? Is that Justin McCully?
No, Justin should be calling in anytime. He was training tonight.
Okay.
We might have to get a hold of him.
I got another phone down for a second. I got to spark one up. Hang on.
All right, dude. We'll get back to Sabu. So talking about paying dues, something that'll. Okay. Sabu, talking about paying dues. This is something that, like, when I write my book, the RVD autobiography, whenever the whole story makes it out. When you know a lot of stories about when I went down to Florida. You and I were in USWA, and I met Ron Slinker there. This dude had come up because his son was wrestling on the card there, and he liked what he saw, and you know, and he said, I'm going to be opening up territory in Florida and all that. Well, I ended up driving all the way down to Tampa from Michigan with, and this was paying dues. I had $100 in my pocket. My Mustang was held together by coat hangers, and it had expired insurance on it, everything, you know. And I went down there, couldn't even really remember what the guy looked like, but I had an address, and I went and lived on this guy's fucking floor. There was Ron Slinker. He gave me the name Rob Van Dam. And it was his wife, and then they each had a son. His son was 360-pound Tex Slazenger. Oh, yeah. Maybe not 360, but at least he was big. 320 easily. And then then another son, sometimes a daughter, and these little yippy Yorkshire Terriers running around the place, and it was madness. And that was me paying my dues. And when I got down there, they weren't even ready for me. They tried to discourage me, but I was so excited, and I wanted it to happen so bad. I helped them open up the Sportatorium in Tampa. I helped paint the fucking bleachers. I went up on the roof and helped hang the sign from the roof and everything.
Yeah,
and then after all that, I wrestled like once a week there on Thursdays for like $35.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, well, I was excited to do it, though. I was so grateful, and you know, and every wrestler went through that Sportatorium too, so there was a lot of fame, and there was I actually met Johnny Ace then, like way back then, but you know, that was forever ago. But he came in and beat up Sandy Beach, but That was paying dues. I mean, there's a lot to what went on in that house. There was some crazy shit that I won't get into. But let me just say, he was a troubled man, and being an unexperienced kid like me, being thrown out into the world, wow, fucking wow, it was crazy.
Well, Ron Slinker was a Vietnam nut. Right?
Yes, he was, and he had flashbacks. He had flashbacks. He'd go crazy and like see shit that wasn't there, and he would punish himself by, doing drugs. It was a really bad situation, and like I said, someday if I write the book before I die, that'll be an interesting part of it. Is that morbid to say that? People always...
Stop it. I hate it when you say stuff like that.
What?
Well, he better write it before he dies, because it ain't going to be written then. So, don't worry, son. He can't write the book before he dies.
Accurately.
That's the way I see it, too. I got too much to do. Too busy, All right, cool. You guys seem like you're hanging out, so I'm going to let another caller through. I'm going to put Harry Slash on mute because I got so many callers, and I'm going to go to... Did we talk to Mike from California yet? I don't think so. Let's talk to Mike from California. Hey, Mike from California.
Hey, what's up, RVD? How you doing, man?
Where you at, Mike?
I am doing fucking excellent. I'm grateful to be here today. I'm grateful to be happy, healthy, and terrific, and have a wonderful wife, and have RVD radio, and be able to kick it with good friends like little Guido and Sabu, who are on the phone with you, too.
Awesome. Sabu, you know what, sir? It's an honor to speak to you, and it's just incredible to actually have a conversation with you briefly. And my son loves playing as you on all the video games, and you're just an icon. And the reason I'm calling is we're talking about pain, and thankful if you guys could spread a little bit of light on one of the most mysterious guys is the late, great, and legendary Sheik out of Detroit. Could you give us a couple stories?
Go ahead, Rob.
Well, okay. I mean, obviously, when I inducted the Sheik into the Hall of Fame, I covered some stories that everybody enjoyed except, wait, who are those two sour grapes in the front row, Sabu?
Shawn Michaels and his buddy.
I talked about that last week. Someone called and they wanted to know what I thought about Shawn Michaels, and I had to mention that. It was so funny. Everyone in the crowd was laughing except two people with frowns on their face like little kids with their arms crossed. And it was real funny because afterwards you go, well, you would have done the same thing if they were up there. And I went, yeah, you're right. At least we had that mutual energy exchange. Let's see, Sheik was extremely intimidating, and so we had all the respect in the world for him, and he earned it, I mean, he demanded respect like his presence did. He wasn't somebody you just goofed around with. His family called him Sheik. Even when he trained us, he never taught us any of the stuff that they teach in wrestling schools and stuff today. I mean, people ask, well, do you guys learn how to take care of each other? No, fuck no. He never once said anything about how to land right. He never said anything about, taking care of a guy, loosening your grip on him. It was all about protecting the business, and I'm so grateful that I got trained by the Sheik. It gave me such a better respect for it, for keeping it to the basics. It was always about trying to pin the guy. It was always about trying to grab the guy, and he would hate it if we body slammed our opponent. If we turn and look towards the crowd, he would hate that shit. He's like, well, get out, I'm covering, pin him. And that was awesome because it taught us that if we do turn away, we got to be conscious of what and be ready for whatever could happen. So you know what I mean? It gave us everything about it. It was a great way to come in. So he didn't let us. He didn't let us look inside his briefcase. He would tell us. Okay, let's hear your story, Sabu.
One day I was setting up Sheik's dressing room, and I put his bag out, and I put his belt on, and he got mad. And he goes, lay down so I can kick you. And I go, yeah. He goes, lay down so I can kick you, because he couldn't bring his leg up very high, so I laid on the ground and he kicked me in the ear.
That's a fucking awesome story.
I'm still selling that ear, too.
Hey, thanks, you guys. That's incredible, man. Again, you guys it's great to hear you, and you guys are just fucking the best, man. Badass motherfuckers.
Right on.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike from California. That was awesome. Let me go to David from Sacramento. You got a question for RVD, Sabu, Nunzio, Officer X, SVD, maybe Harry Slash, or possibly even Nikki, our producer?
I know. That's a lot.
I know, that's a lot to do with. I'm just fucking with you. Hey, so what's going on, Dave?
Actually, today was a big accomplishment for me, man. I posted my very first episode of my own blog talk show.
You did?
Yeah.
Now, when you say you posted your first episode, that means that you recorded it, it's done, it's available for archive so people can check it out?
Yeah, I did that today. Matter of fact,
Where's
I'm
it
on
at?
your friends list. I'm the Extreme.
Awesome.
On your friends list. Yeah.
Right on, dude. Well, congratulations. It sounds like you're grateful for that, man. We're grateful
Yeah, that's
for
what I'm
Blog Talk
totally
Radio.
grateful for. And, like, here's my question. Would any of you guys like to be the first guest? I had no call.
Here's your question.
Nothing.
You have the show that you just started. Like, what? Say that one more time. What do you have? You started a new show?
Yeah, I started a show similar to Rob's.
It's
on my show.
Not nearly as cool, because obviously I'm the whole show.
Anybody can do it. Anybody
motherfucker! But no, are you do you wrestle? Like, what kind of, you have a wrestling show?
No.
That's right, Daddy.
No, this is coming from, like, the opposite point of view, like the fan point of view, you know?
I was going to say, because if you're not a wrestler, how would you have...
It's wrestling-oriented, right? It's
Right.
wrestling-oriented.
Except, like, I'm
Hey,
talking
Sabu.
about...
Sabu, did you ever hear when I did The Ultimate Warrior?
Your destination is RVD TV and RobTheDev.com.
That was scary, man.
I never heard
Ultimate
that.
Warrior is nuts.
Hey, Rob, I seen the other day on Hulk Hogan's thing.
Oh, yeah, dude. We haven't talked about that yet. It's like, yeah, that was
The other day.
pretty. Hey, check this out. They asked me last week if I got a call from WWE saying, that I'd never come back and that I fucked up by being on the show. I said, hell no. I don't think they're gonna call and tell me that. Apparently, some of the other guys that were on a retainer contract got let go, and the guys that weren't on contract were told that they fucked up and that they won't work in WWE because they exposed the business, and I was watching it, and at the same day after I watched that, I watched a biography on wrestling where Vince McMahon is doing an interview saying there's a lot to kicking the bejesus out of somebody and not kicking, within the same hour. It's crazy.
Wow.
I didn't, obviously, because, I approach it like an art, you know what I mean? So, there's nothing to expose. I don't know if I could train somebody from zero because, as I started to say, as with the Sheik, he didn't teach us anything that guys in school do. They think you learn, like, how to hit each other soft or learn how to pull off moves and not hurt each other. Fuck no. Did Sheik tell us any of that, Sabu?
Not really, no.
No,
we learned that part on our own. He first taught us how to survive, for real.
And the most important thing wasn't safety first; it was protect the business first. So that meant if you ain't tough enough, you shouldn't be in the ring, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so we beat the shit out of each other, and if we tried to take care of each other, what the fuck? You afraid you're gonna hurt him? Grab him, and that's the way we learn. And I'm grateful that it went down that way.
Rob and I have been together 12 years, and he still has me in the dark about moves.
Hey, you just watch him. You don't even know about him. You just watch him do them. So
That's true.
Yeah.
Hey, how's Zena?
Zena's awesome. She's a spoiled princess.
Very
My dog just had a
spoiled.
birthday last week.
That's so awesome. Wham?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, me, Sabu and his wife, just like us, we don't have any kids, but we love our dogs to death, and we spoil the crap out of them. Hey, Eric from Canada, you're on RVD Radio.
Hey, Rob, how's it going?
I'm doing excellent. How are you, eh?
I'm doing really good. I got two quick things for you. Recently, I seen a picture of you with Stu Hart, I presume it was from the Terry Funk retirement show. And I was just wondering, Stu's such a character, I was just wondering if you had any stories about him you could share with us.
Well, yeah, actually, the thing was that we knew when we met him, when you go to shake Stu's hand, he's going to grab your thumb and put you in a thumb lock. So that was the scare going in, it was like, but you had to do it out of respect, and I wanted to meet him, and so they kept warning me, so of course you had to go and you had to take it, and he stretches your thumb till you tap, or he's going to break, and I love that because that's his whole character. He loves using wrestling moves and keeping people at bay, with leverage and with locks. Sabu, you were at that. Remember that? It was a big funking party at the ranch in Texas.
Yeah, it was in Amarillo. Yep.
Yeah, I have a picture on my MySpace. It's me and you, Candido, and Taz, and Fonzie, I think, in the picture, and we're all.
I remember that. Yep.
Yep. So that was awesome.
Was that the? I'm sorry to interrupt. Was that the Terry Funk show that you guys did in Amarillo?
Yeah,
no?
It was one. Yeah, it was one of the many retirement matches I think that Terry Funk had, and yeah, I wrestled Dory Funk, and the referee was pissed that he didn't get to wrestle Dory, I guess, because that showed up in a documentary and Beyond the Mat. But he's going, who's this guy that's wrestling Dory? It should have been me. And so that was always kind of cool. Hey, remember when they were filming Beyond the Mat, Sabu, and they try and come in the dressing rooms at ECW, and they'd be like sabotage, and the guys would take their tapes and like hide them, smash them.
Yeah, we fucked with them.
Oh man, yeah. Looking back at that now from like a producer's point of view, oh man, that sucks. Yeah. That was some unrecoverable shit. You know, that was really worth a lot.
They weren't supposed to film me anyways in the dressing room. A couple times I caught them, but when I watched the movie, I wasn't in none of the frames or anything.
Hey, Gwiz.
What's up, RVD?
You remember that show in Queens, or that building in Queens, New York, the Elks Lodge we used to wrestle at? Do you remember, like, when we would be dressing before the show in backstage, and Sabu would always chase the hot dog guy out of the dressing room?
The same guy every week, right?
He wasn't. Get the fuck out of here! The guy had passage through our dressing room to get to, like, where the catering or whatever. Sabu would chase him out all the time, grab his hot dogs and throw them at him and shit.
Hey, you know what, Rob? I'm going to say this now. I used to hate that because I used to like when he used to come through because I used to get a couple of hot dogs. But you're right, Sabu used to chase him out of the fucking dressing room. And I used to, and one time, me and Tracy Smothers, was going to get a hot dog, and you fucking screamed at this guy, and he fucking took off. I'm like, Tracy, we'll get the hot dog later on. It's over. I don't know.
I know a hot dog, okay?
Could you? Yeah, you don't like the hot dogs. No, hey, the Elks Lodge was the best, guys. Come on. Let's talk about the fucking Elks Lodge.
Okay.
Hey, Sabu, wasn't there some hot dog throwing at the Beaver Dome show too? That ECW, that big show we did outside that was the record-breaking show. You guys were throwing hot dogs out back.
Yeah.
What was that story? How'd that go? Do you know?
I can't remember. I remember being in the ring and hot dogs being thrown. I think they were throwing them at Sandman, though, weren't they?
Maybe. I'm not sure. Sabu had the Winnebago, and we used to love that. We'd go town to town with the Winnebago, the Winnie, playing video games of ourselves. That's like in a Japanese game on Sony or whatever. And we would park in a parking lot and pull out some chairs and just sit there and get some sun. Pull out the dumbbells and work out. That was a good time. Louie and Pee-wee.
And Rob, that was also at the Red Roof. Remember in Philly, we used to park in front of the Red Roof. We used to lay out into the sun. That was it.
No, actually, when I went, in the last couple of years, when I would be in Philly with WWE, sometimes I would still go back there and stay at the Red Roof just to get away. I never enjoyed seeing all those guys that I had to work with. I didn't enjoy seeing them first thing when I wake up.
Right.
Yeah. So in Essex, there was Essex, I think that was the name of the street where the Red Roof was.
Yeah, the road is 420, coincidentally, in Essex.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Essex, yeah.
That was the shit.
Nifty 50s. Remember Nifty 50s?
Yeah. I didn't go there very often, but I remember driving by like a milkshake hamburger place.
Yeah. Old school, like Happy Days.
Hey, Gwiz, did you ever have to change your? Did you have to change your clothes or change into your wrestling outfit in your car?
Yes, many times.
Oh yeah, many times.
Many times. Slept in your car many times, right?
Yeah, I got changed on the airplane one time.
In the bathroom?
Well,
yeah, I think I've done that once too.
Right in the aisleway.
Oh shit! I did it in the men's room. I don't know if it was because I had to show up in a dress code or put a suit on or some crazy shit. Yeah, but
put a joke in dress code.
I don't know.
Okay.
I got Brandon on the line calling from Nevada, so I'm letting him through to RVD Radio. What up, Brandon?
What's happening there, Rob?
Good to hear from you, free thinker. What's on your mind?
Oh, I was just wondering about you and Sabu, whether either one of you guys have thought of opening a school.
Sabu's, it's come around a few times over the years where Sabu has had a ring where he trains people more on a personal, level. I don't know. Me personally, That's always an option somewhere on the table, but I have like so many things I'd rather do before doing that. I mean, obviously, when I got away from the business, it was because I'd had enough of it. At first it was just the travel, but I got so burnt out, the flames from the travel went all the way into almost every aspect about the job. So the last thing I'd want to do is have a ring set up in my backyard. What about you, Sabu?
Yeah, I do like having the ring there, but I don't like training people. I like working out with people, but I wouldn't want to open no school. I'm not going to train nobody, but like I work out with somebody sometimes.
So, which schools would you recommend? Do you the Team 3D Academy, Booker T's school? I mean, I've seen a bunch of them advertised, and I really think I'm sure you got to go to somewhere that some guy that's actually been there, done that, as opposed to some guy that.
I strongly.
I'm trying to be smart about it.
Of course, I strongly recommend Booker T's school. He's there. Not only is he someone that's been there, but he's still there. You can see him on TV every day. He's a big star. He definitely knows what the fuck he's doing, and he's got an awesome school. Honestly, the best school I've seen as far as it's got the most shit. He's got 4 or 5 rings set up. Yeah. It's really super clean. They've got monitors over the rings. He's got an awesome promoter's office, and he runs shows too, the PWAs, so his students, when they're ready, even can have work, which most schools don't have. Have you seen Booker T's school, Sabu?
I've been checking it out a bit.
I've just seen pictures.
Right on. What about, and then also, there's the Funks down in Florida. There's Dory, that's an option. And there's in California, Jesse Hernandez, I think it's called Body Slams. They got a really nice setup. It's at a college, so they've got like a full facility with track, pool, weights. There's an octagon, a boxing ring, a wrestling ring, all the cardio. It's a crazy setup, and he runs shows too, so those are some that I'd recommend. Gwiz, you're a little bit more in touch with the indies than RVD.
No problem. Well, I guess, there's, many different schools, but also obviously it depends, where you live. In my area, you have Johnny Rogers' school and, just a few others, I'm sure Booker T's school is great, but it all depends where you live and how much money you have. If you live over here and want to go to Booker T's school, obviously you're going to have to, move yourself to Texas. So I think it depends where you're at in your life and what your lifestyle is like if you could afford to move, but they, unfortunately, actually, there's a lot of schools out there now compared to it was when we were young. And this is going back to the older days, but it's just different. They're just totally different schools. So there's just so many out there. The only ones that I would recommend would be like Johnny Rods.
Guido, when you started wrestling, did they have cars back then?
Sabu, you used to pick me up in the horse and buggy. Don't you remember?
I used to fix your horse sometimes when it broke down, remember?
That's awesome. I also got Don, not the Don. Who was the Don? Was Tommy Rich the Don? What was he called?
Yes, he was.
The Big Don, Tommy Rich, the Big Don.
Hi. Wildfire, Tommy Rich. Guido.
I just seen him a couple months ago.
Did he? How's he doing?
How is he doing? How's Tommy Rich doing, Sabu?
I guess he's doing good. One of his kids got 4 kids, and his other kids, he's got 5 grandkids. One of his kids got 3 kids, and the other kid 1 or 2, something like that. But he's doing good, I guess. He's living.
Yeah, but they're hillbillies.
And the funny thing is that his daughter's got 3 kids of her own, and she's only 14. Well, that's the way they do it in Georgia.
Now. She's 18 now.
Oh. I got Don from Illinois on the line that's got a question for some of us or all of us. What's up, Don?
Yeah, what's up, man?
What's up, Don?
I just want to say, I actually got into the business just recently. I actually had my first match over the weekend.
And you were just motivated by RVD to get in because you were so inspired by my awesomeness?
Yeah. You were actually one of the people, the reason, your style of why I got
RVD, motherfucker!
Yeah.
And I got a question for you. I don't remember. It was right before you went to WWE in 2001. You worked a guy named Terry Allen.
Terry Allen. What's the question?
Do you have
I do remember. Okay, I'm with you. So what? Is that you?
No. He's actually someone who actually I work with in the company, and he's actually.
Okay, yeah, he was good. That was a show up in Windy City, wrestling in Chicago, and it was crazy because they had some crazy double ring match. So there was a ring on top of a ring, and even though our match wasn't that, it was okay. If we just wanted to use it anyway, it was there. I mean, kind of hard to ignore. There's a ring over top of your head, but yeah, that was kind of crazy. But yeah, he was good. I remember that. I enjoyed that match. It was right before I went to WWE and had no idea until I got there that ECW was being reformed under Vince McMahon's watch.
Yeah. Yep. But my question is about Terry Allen. Like, I haven't got to know him, but he's becoming like one of my favorites around, just to be around. Do you have any good stories about him at all that you, for the short time you were around with him?
Yeah, there was this one time I wrestled in Windy City wrestling, and there was another match on the card that had like 2 rings, and even though that wasn't our match, we were allowed to use that ring because it was like sitting right there, and it was kind of hard to ignore the fact that there was a ring over top of our heads. Ring. Thank you very much.
RVD, motherfucker!
That's right, Daddy. I don't know. What was the question?
I don't have any stories about Terry Allen because I only wrestled with him that one night.
First of all, I thought he said Jerry Lynn. Lynn.
No, Terry Allen.
Announcer called Terry Allen back in the 60s and 70s for about in Detroit.
Oh wait, wasn't Magnum TA also Terry Allen?
Yeah, you're right. Magnum TA, Terry Allen.
Oh, well, I no disrespect. I didn't know that. No, Magnum TA.
Hey, it's too late, Gwiz. Whatever you said is said.
Too late. I already saw it, but I know Magnum. I know who Magnum TA is. Yes, I didn't know.
And also, have you ever worn a Magnum?
Have I ever what?
Okay, if you don't know, you don't know. Right, baby?
Right, baby.
No, I guess I didn't. Whatever you just said, I guess I didn't because I have no fucking clue what you just said.
You're listening to RVD Radio.
Awesome. Sweet. So anyway, tomorrow's Thanksgiving. A lot of people are thankful for shit. Sonia, my beautiful wife, happens to be an Indian. Maybe Indians probably aren't too thankful that the Pilgrims took their land, are they?
Not at all.
No.
Sonia, are you going to dress up? Sonia, are you going to dress up as a pilgrim and serve Thanksgiving dinner tomorrow?
No. I'll be serving Thanksgiving dinner tomorrow, not dressed as a pilgrim.
Okay. Yes. We'll keep the pilgrim, in our own head.
That's
a little feather above your hat.
Vietnamese.
Yeah. Well, awesome, man. We are having a fun show. I'm going to put Harry Slash back on the line. He's I keep him on hold sometimes. He stands by. He listens. He hangs in there. Harry, that show was pretty awesome last week that we listened to. What was that? What was that tribute to? I'm musically retarded, but what was it?
Yeah, that's why I talked to Sonia about music. She's the expert in the family.
For sure.
Yeah, it was a Led Zeppelin clip from a Led Zeppelin tribute. We did the song Misty Mountain Hop.
Awesome. And do you got a website where people can check that out?
Well, they can go to slashtones.com for all the latest news on Harry Slash and his small army of musicians, and see the old ECW songs. You can't hear them there, but I won't put the music up on the line. I can't, but you can see what.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, they can listen to last week's episode too. It's on archives, Hey, so I'm gonna hit a couple other things real quick here because on the news today, I don't know if you guys watch the news, but all over the news right now is the fact this mom got acquitted after the mom got onto the MySpace, posed as a 14-year-old boy. And bullied over the internet, bullied this other young girl. Until the young girl committed suicide, and she, that was like big in the news. She got acquitted. A lot of people think she got off early. Sabu, have you caught any of that on TV?
No, this is the first I've heard of it.
Okay, how about you, Gwiz? Is this the first time for you?
Yeah, I think that if this is the same thing, is this also, they were blaming the parents because the kids were bullying this little girl, and this little girl committed suicide.
Right, all over the news saying it's the mom.
Ended up being the mother.
Rob,
it's a mother and her daughter, and I think there's another kid that's on their team, and they're posing on the internet as a boy, and they're emailing to this other young girl, and they were being real mean to her, bullied her, and then said the world would be a better place without you. The girl killed herself, and and then they wanted to stick the mom with a felony of some kind of I don't know.
Yeah, that's Rob. That's the same one I'm talking about, right? The girl committed suicide, and they're trying to blame the other girl's parents for it. Am I correct? Isn't that what it is?
The other girl's mom. First off, I mean, the mom's an idiot. What kind of mom would be on the internet posing as a kid, talking to a kid anyway? I mean, right off the bat, she's trailer trash for sure. But you can't stick her. You can't stick her with a felony because she didn't kill that girl. The girl chose to kill herself. And that's the only way I can see it. I mean, yes, she's guilty of being a stupid, ignorant, fucking irresponsible adult, and maybe maybe she's got some consequences to pay. But the way they kept wording it on the news, they acted as if she did an action that killed her. They kept saying she bullied her to death, as if, made it sound like you bludgeoned her to death, you stabbed her to death, you shot her to death. Those are actions that you take, whereas you murdered somebody, but you bullied her to death. That I'm not buying, because it's not a physical action that you did resulting in a death. It was her decision. And I'm not backing the lady up. The lady definitely has some punishment coming, but how do you see that, Sabu, based on what I just gave you?
I think the woman should be responsible. They're saying she knew better. The kid didn't. The kid was a minor, and the mother was posing as a minor, but still she was an adult, right?
Yeah, and they're saying that she knew that the girl was depressed, and they knew all these things about the girl, and that their actions, resulted in this girl killing herself. You feel like she should be held accountable for murder?
No, but she should be held accountable for something. Maybe not.
Absolutely,
murder.
because she's a mature adult, and she never fucking should have done that to a kid. She should be held accountable for something. Maybe not murder. Murder might be too strict, and maybe murder. Because you know what? If it was my fucking kid, maybe I'll say, fuck you. Kids are very, they don't understand yet. So when you have an adult, telling them certain things, they don't know, and they believe. So if this mother was telling this, saying certain things to this kid and bringing her spirits down and shit, I don't know. I don't think that's right.
Yeah, well, no. Since I happen to have Officer X online with me, I'm right, Officer X?
Yeah, there's no criminal charge for that.
Oh, there is?
No. I mean, because in order for, if it was going to be a murder or something, you'd have to take an overt act, which wasn't taken. But I mean, is it bad decision? Is it improper behavior? I mean, if the kid wasn't dead, you could maybe get some contributing delinquency of a minor, but you can always turn the fucking computer off and the problem's over.
Right.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like they gave the kid a gun and said go play with it, or bought her beer and told her to drive the car.
Right. They let us still continue to monitor the computers.
But you know what it comes down to with these computers is these parents don't want to be parents, because I mean, when a kid meets some asshole predator in a chat room, where are the fucking parents? They should be paying attention to what the kid's doing.
Right.
If my kid goes down a drain, it's my fault. If your kid does, it's your fault. And, I mean, that's the problem with these things. You can't blame the law can't chase everybody down. There's got to be personal responsibility, and part of being a parent, you own that stuff.
And let me ask you a question, Officer. I'll tell you what, I thought the show was great, only because, that's because I watched it, because I think what it done, well, that show that used to be How to Catch a Predator. All of a sudden, a lot of people got turned against that show because they thought they were disrespecting the fucking predators. How can you give me two rights? Let me tell you something. If I was a predator and I know that shit's going on, I would probably, if I have a half a fucking brain, say, you know what? I'm not going to go on the computer because I'm worried. Maybe they'll catch me on this shit that they're doing every week. How can that be?
That's how you stopped, though, right?
That's how I stopped, right. That's how I stopped. No, Sabu, come on. Common sense.
No, but hey, let me tell you something, Gwiz. Nothing makes me happier than seeing justice. I'm so fucking happy that we have security cameras everywhere, because when somebody wants to make a victim out of an innocent person, that person has consequences coming to them. And I love when they get caught on videotape, whatever the crime is. I saw this lady that she had a neighbor dog that barked a lot, so she went and she took the dog, threw it in her trunk, drove to a different part of town, took the collar off the dog, and dropped the dog off. Can you imagine that? Someone does that to your fucking dog, and they got caught on security camera, and I love it. I love it when the jewelry stores or the convenience stores, I love it when people think they're going to come in, beat the shit out of somebody, maybe kill them so that they can fucking take something that's not theirs and then go out, you know, and fucking who knows what they're doing with it. But I hate those people. I personally want to punish them, you know, with violence. But I love when they get busted on camera. That's why I love America's Most Wanted. I saw something on the news yesterday, and this is you know, we talked about New World Order, which is basically this total world government that tries to take over. Part of that is they want to be able to track every single move we make. They eventually want to put chips in us so that they can handle all of our currency, our value. They can shut us down. We would have no identification. That's where they want to go, and people are begging for the chips already because they can get through faster screening at the airport. And I saw this news thing yesterday, and it freaked me out. I told Sonia, oh my God, that's so blatant. We should keep this clip, play it years down the road. The news comes on, and they said there's something called a Truman syndrome going around right now, where people think that they're being recorded, just like the movie Truman, where they're being recorded 24 hours a day. And doctors say that it's linked to delusion and possible brain damage. The Truman syndrome. Bullshit. That's not fucking happening. There's no way people after seeing that movie are freaking out delusional, thinking that they're on cameras 24 hours a day. We are on camera 24 hours a day. We fucking are. That's why they're able to track people back. When there's a crime, someone comes up missing, they get to find out everywhere that person went today. Well, we see they got this ATM today, they got money, they went over here to Wendy's, they ordered a fucking 99-cent whatever meal, and what do you get at Wendy's, baby?
Frosty?
Yeah, they got a Frosty, and then they fucking got in the car with this guy. I mean, they track us all the fucking time, and they're trying to cover it up by saying, hey, by the way, if you hear someone, saying that we're being recorded all the time, ignore them because they're crazy. That's what that fucking meant to me.
Hey, Dave, Rob, that's like Easy Pass. I saw one time on AE, they do the aggressive. This guy murdered his family, and they couldn't nail him down to him doing it, but they knew by his Easy Pass because he left college, and he went through all the New York State tolls with his Easy Pass. So everybody got him. I didn't realize Easy Pass.
I'm great. That's something else I'm grateful for today. I'm grateful that we have security cameras everywhere, because there's a lot of people that are not good people, and I love justice. I love it when people get caught. Dude, real quick story. And we'll go to Dr. Shawn because he's on the line too. Real quick, speaking about justice, I watched those video shows where they caught a bunch of shit on camera and sent it in. There was this road rage incident where the guy left the other guy laying on the ground all beat up, right? He fucking knocked him on the ground. He goes back to his car. The guy gets up off the ground, and shakes it off, and gets in his car, and he goes to take off, and the asshole that left him laying hasn't had enough. No, he couldn't leave him knocked out. He goes and jumps and tries to give a big ass bump to the guy's windshield, and so the guy hits the gas pedal with the guy on the car. The guy rolls down the car. The guy rolls over him, and so the guy's all fucked up with broken legs and shit, and he already beat the guy up but couldn't leave, because he was caught up in that rage. But that's just justice. I fucking loved it. It was awesome. Dr. Shawn, thanks for calling in before we close off, dude. What's going on?
I'm just running around like crazy, brother. I had a long day, but I don't know what you guys were talking about. It sounds pretty violent.
No, actually, we're talking about being grateful, and we're also talking about paying dues. Two subjects that we're both hitting back and forth. I got Sabu, and I got little Guido. and I got Officer X, and now finally I got Justin Sano from UFC calling in. What's up, JMC? JMC.
Motherfucker. No.
He ain't gonna talk to us. Justin
Listen, I'll be KFC. I'll be KFC.
Oh.
Can I be KFC?
What?
Fonzie and
I was making a joke. KFC.
Hey, Nikki, if you can connect JMC through, would you? Help us out. But anyway, Shawn, what's going on today, brother? What are you grateful for?
I'm grateful that, I've got good friends like you and that you're always a phone call away. I'm grateful that I've got my co-host G-Man sitting here with me and that we're all alive. And whenever you think you had a bad day, it can always be worse. Think about just, like even today when I was in the office, this lady came in and actually I kind of teared up, man. She has been in so much pain her whole life, from having screws put in her hips and just her spine, scoliosis, just lives in pain. And she just broke down in tears today. And I adjusted her, and she had tears in her eyes, said, man, thank you so much. You helped me, and I feel so much better. And I gave her a big hug, and I went in the bathroom, and I cried because I felt, wow, that's pretty serious,
Now, Justin Sano, does that make Shawn a pussy because he cried?
No, it's good to be in touch with your emotions. I think it's underrated. You know what I mean? Like, I think you should cry every now and again, just for fun, dude. I think it's cathartic. You get that out, you get your emotions out, and then you feel like a new man again. You really, you look at life a new way after you cry.
Yeah, I think that it's important to really get in touch and know yourself on such a personal level and a spiritual level. I'm writing a book called Spiritual Masturbation.
Dude, I get to know myself 3 times a day, and I like it every time.
I read the first thing.
Hey, brother, how old are you? If you don't know yourself by now, something's wrong with you.
I'm still willing to learn.
Long before that. We're ever changing like the world, brother. You gotta morph and metamorphosize. And I'm not the same guy I was yesterday, and I'm sure not the same guy I'll be tomorrow. But today I like.
No, but the guy you will be tomorrow is the guy that you create today with your thoughts. True or false?
True.
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 Definitely true.
Exactly.
RVD, motherfucker!
Remember that, Justin Sano?
RVD, what do you push a button? You hit that?
Dude, I got all kinds of them, man. When somebody calls in, like the caller on line 8 that I'm not taking right now, they call to ask like silly shit. Like they'll say, yes, I'd like to know what does a Sabu's cock taste like and shit like that. I hit this one right here.
Everything that guy just says is bullshit. Thank you.
Hey, Rob Van
Hey,
Dam.
you spoke right over that. Who was that? I'll mute you. Who's speaking?
I think that the toughest guys in the world cry.
I'm joking, dude. I cry, dude. I cry when I watch people on TV cry. If it's really good acting, I'll cry with them then. When they're really hurt, like they walk in the room and they see their whole family destroyed because they're all sliced up and murdered all over the place. But when I watch America's Most Wanted or see some on the news that their fucking child was taken from them, and missing and or murdered or something, yeah, fucking, I'll let one roll for you.
Yeah, one thing for sure, it wasn't cool to cry. Phil Donahue, dude, that's for sure. Phil Donahue made it cool for guys to cry, and I think he was gay. But whatever, it's cool. That's just my 5 cents on that.
Dr. Shawn, I know Shawn's got a show following Shawn Staziak. DrShawn.com. I'm going to let you go, Shawn, because I got so many callers on right now, but I'll be calling your show in a little bit. All right?
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Bye.
Happy Thanksgiving to you, Shawn. Awesome. All right, JMC, so we wanted to talk about paying some dues, man. We were talking earlier about how, actually before the show, we talked about it in the police business, we talked about it in the rock and roll business, we talked about it in the wrestling business. Also, as a fighter, same thing. It seems like across the board, like we were thinking it's an entertainment, but it's not just entertainment, it's across the board. When people come in and they haven't come up the traditional way paying their dues, but instead they seem to get opportunities to them for one reason or another that shortcuts them. There's always resentment, right?
For sure, and you know what? I think paying your dues is maybe one way of the hierarchy or the upperclassmen keeping their spot in the business, in whatever business it might be, and that's good to a sense, but it also could be bad to a sense because if they're not selling tickets and doing that kind of thing and lifting the business, then they're hurting the business. So if they can, if a new guy comes in and he sells more tickets and he does that kind of thing, that's cool.
Brock Lesnar being a huge example right here. He came in, he's got 3 fights in MMA, and all of a sudden he gets to fight, one of the godfathers of MMA.
That's right, Daddy.
On his back for so long, and in a way, for me, that was disrespectful. I would have liked to see him maybe win 1 or 2 more fights. At 1-1 in the UFC to get a heavyweight shot, that's bullshit. I mean, there's so many guys out there that didn't get a shot, and they've won many more fights than he has in the UFC, in the Octagon. However, it's projected that his pay-per-view sales are just going to be astronomical. So they went for it right away without killing their horse.
Bottom line, bro, which is basically in life, bottom line is business, and they knew that was going to draw money, so they went right in, and that's what they did.
Always is. But sometimes it's not just if you're selling things. Sometimes you suck off a promoter, you do whatever you do, and the next thing you know, you got your shot, and that kind of stuff shouldn't be tolerated. But in the essence, where somebody's going to make a lot of money for the company, you kind of do have to kind of sidestep yourself and let the guy take the wave and go up in there and make the money for the company. Needless to say, I still don't like it. I don't think he earned his shot. I don't think that he proved himself yet to anybody. Knocking out a Randy Couture that had been off for 15 months, is 45 years old, 220 pounds. At fight night, it was rumored that Brock weighed in at 291 pounds. For me, that's a mismatch. For me, that's a mismatch.
Dude, he looked like he was from another fucking planet, The only thing I compare it to was when Rocky fought the big Russian. It just, what a freak, What a freak. But yeah, Justin Sato, you got a fight coming up on the UFC card in North Carolina, December 10th.
I sure do.
Who are you fighting?
I'm fighting a very tough man, Eddie Sanchez, out of Temecula, California, the Manic Hispanic. Very tough guy. He was 8-0 outside the UFC. He's 3-2 inside the UFC. His only 2 losses come to Anthony Hardunk, a man that I beat, and Mirko Krokop. We share another common opponent, which is Mario Sakata Neto, who we both beat. So it looks like it's going to be a barn burner. He's a big striker. He likes to come out and try to knock you out. He's got a lot of power, so I'm going to try to avoid that and hopefully take him down, put him on his back, and beat him up and get out of there early.
Hey, good luck, brother. Good luck.
Yeah, right on, man. Try and beat traffic.
Yeah, I actually just went up to L.A. to spar Joe Schilling and my boy Rafael Davis at the L.A. Boxing Academy, and it was a nightmare out there. It took me like 2 hours to get back to Newport Beach, and dude, whoever's out there on the road, I feel bad for you.
Yeah, I wanted to work out with Justin tonight, but I knew there was no way that I could do that and this radio show, but trying to roll with you real quick in the near future. I have Havoc from Connecticut. What's up, dude? You got about 30 seconds.
What up, man?
What's going on, Havoc? Thanks for calling in.
Anytime, man. Pretty much just calling in to show you some love, Rob.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate the support. We're having a kick-ass show tonight, aren't we?
Hell yeah, man. Definitely.
Love you, Rob.
Awesome, man. All right, well, thanks for the call. We almost running out of time here, everybody. I'm going to go to Ray from Long Island and let him slide in. Ray, you're talking to RVD, Sabu, Little Guido, fucking Officer X. We got Justin McCully from UFC, SVD, and Nikki from Blog Talk. So what's going on, Ray?
Nothing much. Just calling in to say, hey, what's up?
What are you grateful for today?
Pot smoke.
Yeah. Did I hear the bubbler in the background? Did somebody taking a rip?
Yo.
Hey, how did you know that was going to be a hit on this show?
You know that didn't come from the Van Dam household. We'd be coughing, JMC.
Yo.
I got 2 more weeks. 2 more weeks.
We were at the one night.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks for calling in, Ray. Yeah, so JMC, what about you paying dues? I mean, you go and do some fucking backyard fights like Kimbo Slice, or did you start out like in the dojo on the mat learning a martial art, or how did you come up?
All of it, man. I mean, I paid so many dues, I feel used and abused, but I started with Alan Goes and the Carlson Gracie systems, and I worked my way up, and I was just having this talk with somebody in the gym earlier, like to get to my purple belt level, which is like the mid-level in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'd already had 5 professional fights. I had 2 national titles that I had won back-to-back, and it was a hard road, and I had to pay a lot of dues to graduate onto the next levels and things like that. And to finally make it to the UFC was a hard road. It was 10 years of hard work in fighting in various countries all around the world, various styles. I fought bare knuckle. I did it all, and And once you get to that top level, you should have done that. And if you don't do that, you get exposed, much like Kimbo Slice got exposed not too long ago against Seth Petrozelli. People think he's like a middle-of-the-road fighter, but Seth is 10-4 in MMA. That's a hell of a record. And a guy with 14 fights, you pit him against a guy with 3-4 fights. That's what's going to happen. I think the same thing's going to happen to Brock Lesnar. People are looking at him this big steroided out, crazy-looking guy, but he hasn't.
All right, JMC. All right, dude. But hey, I got to ask Sabu something real quick here.
Huh.
Okay.
Fucking A. Hey, dude, Sabu, you still on the line with me?
Yeah.
Who stole the fucking dope?
Yeah. Hey, anybody got anything they want to plug? JMC, you got a website you want to plug?
I want to plug RVD TV, the coolest thing ever. Out the DVD soon. Go to INITrainingCenters.com. Check out our new gym in Maui.
Watch
LA Boxing
RVD TV and RobVanDam.com.
Dude, sorry, that was Neil. He was very rude. Go ahead, bro. We got about 30 seconds.
Hit LA Boxing's always big supporter, Ruka. Thanks, Pat Tenori from Ruka, for being a big sponsor, keeping me alive for these last few months and getting me to this next fight. And everybody else who's on the team, really appreciate it. RVD, you are the man, and thanks for being such a strong, positive influence in my life. And looking forward to getting that RVD TV out on DVD to everybody soon in Best Buy and in Walmart and everywhere else.
Fuck yeah, all that, man. Little Guido, Guizinator, brother, thanks for being on the show. You got a website or anything you want to plug?
No, I got nothing to plug RVD, but I appreciate being on the show. We had a good time.
Awesome. I appreciate it, too, man. I know you got some partying to do. Have fun. Sabu, appreciate you being on the show, too, brother.
For real, bro. Anytime.
Awesome, man. You heard him say anytime. We're going to take you up on that. Officer X, Harry Slash, SVD says that I never let her say goodbye. So, Sonia, say goodbye to everybody.
Bye, everybody. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Yay. And they fucking...